Good morning. Welcome to Fibertown. This is episode 161. It's the morning of August the 4th, 2016. I'm so glad to see you guys. It's early. I was planning on recording on my porch. However, they are repaving the road out there, and so I think it's going to be too noisy. So I'm in my kitchen, which is newly repainted, and yeah, I didn't even know that was there. I have been painting for days in my kitchen and family room. And sorry, my previous co-host Oliver is about to do his laundry, and he's walking past with the basket. And you can hear Alice having her morning shenanigans with a squeaky toy. And you can probably hear the trucks backing up. All right, welcome to my world. So yeah, I have a lot to talk about today. Let's start with an introduction from Dutch Girl 63. And she wants to say that, let's see, she is, what's her name? Monique. She's from BC, Canada. And she wanted to say hi. She's not sure if she's introduced herself already. She recently opened an Etsy shop, Frog Peak Creations. She makes limited editions, unique, and fun project bags and does updates every 2 weeks or so. So, yay, thank you for introducing yourself, Dutch Girl 63. She's very active on the board, so hello and welcome. All right, so the Adventure Cal is going on right now, and I have some prizes. Yes, indeed. Okay, so I pulled 4 numbers. Oh, goodness, now they're really loud out there. 4 numbers from the thread, which is ongoing. Chatter is eligible, and this is just summer crafting adventures. Adventure is the word. So go take a look at the thread, enter, you could win the August prize, which I'm going to show in a minute. But for July, here are the prizes. Random number picked 97, which is Lady Fernico, and she is getting the Veggie Garden pattern by Quilter Caroline, which is lovely, lovely. So congratulations, Marlisha. Now we have 3 patterns by Heidi Nick. H. Nick Unraveling. They are stunning. Mostly socks. I think maybe even all socks. But the numbers were 49, 86, and 6. And those are respectively stitched by Mimi, Tesoro Stitchery, and Christian Crafter. Would you close that door for me, doll? Thank you. Yeah, did you put soap in? Okay, yeah, just start it, do a normal cycle. Okay, cool. Yes, we have been learning laundry this summer. It's going very well. Okay, so congratulations, folks. Let me know that you saw this, and I will make sure you get your pattern. Congratulations. So for August, I'm going to be giving 2 things to 1 lucky winner. You will be getting this, which was a gift in the goodie bag from SSK. Hip strings. It's like sort of like a wraps per inch, but for knitters as well as spinners. You know, if you're not sure what a certain, if you've lost a ball band, this is a good guide right here. Super cool. Plus a skein of my hand spun. This is by Highland Handmaids. This was from her Fiber Club, and I love it, but I have tons of hand spun, and I would love to share with you guys. So let's see, this is Polworth Silk 8515, 290 yards of a 3-ply. Is it a 3-ply? It is a 3-ply. I think this would make an amazing like sockhead hat. Fingerless mitts are always a good thing with hand spun. So yeah, knit happy, be happy. This is going to the August winner. So can't wait to see what else you guys are adventure crafting over there. Okay, I have an errata. A few episodes back, I mentioned this sweater that I thought I was going to make it out of hand spun. This was from a Taproot magazine. And right after the podcast, I immediately realized my error. I think I attributed this to Bristol Ivy. It's not Bristol Ivy. It is Carrie Bostic Hogue. It's the Portland pullover. And I just think it would be really adorable in a hand spun. Anyway, if you were wondering, what sweater is she talking about? This is the one. So, last podcast, I mentioned a segment that I would love to do that involves getting input from people in the Fibertown community. I have had 0 responses. So let me talk a little bit more about it. It might be a way, if you're considering podcasting yourself, for you to get your toes wet. Basically, I would just like to hear more from people in the community. I want to see what you're doing. This would involve sending a video clip to me for me to put in my podcast. I would like to know about you and your crafting, basically. So you would be answering questions like, how did you learn to knit, /weave, /spin, /crochet? What are your favorite projects? What kind of, show us your fiber space, your studio, your stash. What are your favorite types of yarns to work with, or your favorite types of yarns to spin? Really this is just the tip of the iceberg. If you're interested, let me know. I could send you a list of questions that you might answer in a segment like this. And I think it would be called Fibertown on the Road. And you could talk about your local area, your local crafting community, maybe kind of soulful stash is available in your area, i.e. farm yarns, or a yarn that has sort of a provenance, that's relatable to your area. Does that make sense? I didn't say that quite right, but I really would love to do this. So if you're considering, here's my second pitch. And if this one doesn't work, I'll keep trying. Okay, I have 2 FOs today. One was finished last week, but I completely neglected to show it. It is the Pincha by Wang Sai Pinpalan. I hope that's right. This is out of another Crafty Girl Strong Sock in Gamut. I think I did 19 feathers. This is such a cool pattern. It's the perfect thing, and wow, those colors are super saturated. It's the perfect thing for a highly variegated skein of yarn. Let me try this the other way. It's a great little thing around your neck. Put it under a coat. It's thin, it's lightweight, it's easy to carry around. Just put it over your shoulders if you get a chill. But I think it looks best around the neck. So all of that amazing chevron-ness is made by short rows. This thing is entirely made of short rows. I've heard people say that after a while they could memorize the pattern. I could not. I could not, but it was worth it, I think. Love this one. And I also finished a sweater in a week for my son. And it's still a bit damp, and he's in the background going, because it's for him. Oh, goodness. There it is. It's the Flax Sweater by Tin Can Knits. It is out of a cashmere, merino, angora blend. His favorite color is orange. It's a classic elite yarn. This is more the correct color. So here's the flax. I did not do the garter panel on the sleeves. I just felt like making the simplest kind of sweater, which is really the most wearable kind of sweater. So that is for his birthday. It'll come to him on his birthday. He's seen it, he's tried it on. Obviously he won't be wearing it until it's much colder. His birthday is in about a month. So I have I have lots of works in progress, but since I focused mainly on the sweater, I only had one sort of travel knitting project that got worked on, and those are my Andres Knits Sugar Skulls socks. So I love knitting this. And I have it in my brand new kitchen counter crafter bag, which is awesome. Super awesome. Boom. I love that watch. So cool. So I just kind of pull from the sock blank out of here. Now you may recall that this sock blank is a work of art. And there is, I'm onto the second skull. You can see where it's mostly pink was sort of between the skulls. Sock blank is a curious thing, especially when it's such a work of art, okay? It's hard unraveling this, truly is. Now, I want to save some of it in its natural state. And it's this weird thing, you know, when you have a yarn, like a hand-dyed yarn, and you knit something out of it, the yarn has sort of become like greater than the sum of its parts. Does that make sense? I'm not sure that you have the same experience with an amazing sock blank like this. So I'm hoping to have the best of all worlds because I'm going to have an amazing sock, well, two, hopefully, plus save some of this. You know, I think what you get from it, and you have to be okay with unraveling a work of art, what you get from it is the surprise. How is it going to knit up? We just don't know. So you get the experience. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Do you love it? He's over there going, love it. Okay. So this particular base is so squishy and soft, and it's giving me a very tiny row gauge. I think I'm going to need at least 10 to 15 more rounds before I start my toe decreases. This is the number of rounds that I usually, what are you doing? The number of rounds that I usually do before my toe decreases. And clearly I'm not there yet. There's the heel. So yeah, very small row gauge. And it's my usual sock on my usual amount of stitches on the usual needles. So a lovely experience. All right, so let's see, spinning. I am spinning my Rhinebeck 2015 fleece purchase, which was a portion of the Best in Show. Genevieve, a Cormo from Rockland's Farm, which I have washed. And here is a cloud of her fiber. So I was talking to a lady at SSK who processes a lot of fine wools, and fine wools are not my favorite to process because I feel like I never get enough lanolin out of them. They're very greasy. It's a characteristic of the finer wools, shorter staples, merino, rambouillet, cormo. Can't think of another one. So we talked about our processes, and she thinks that I leave my fleece to soak too long. And like I usually soak my fleeces about, like each wash gets about 25 minutes to a half hour. She said no, 10 or 15 minutes for a fine fleece. Wish I had, you know, it makes sense because the water cools, the lanolin redeposits, and then it is pretty hard to work with if you have too much lanolin. So this is doable. That's about the staple length. Not too much lanolin in it, but probably a little bit more than I would like. Anyway, I'm spinning that. I want to be done with it and spin something colorful again. I feel like it's been all natural colors lately, which is okay, but my colored spinning stash is building up. Okay, that is spinning, and I know I haven't done my supported spindle thing yet, but that will come. My demo. Okay, so sewing. I made a skirt. I used this book, So Many Dresses, So Little Time, by Tanya Whelan. And I drafted my very first pattern. I drafted a circle skirt, a half circle skirt to be exact. So yeah, this is how you do it. You take some measurements. I used Swedish tracing paper. You cut a rectangle to those measurements, and then you cut up in strips, almost to the waistband. And then you fan them out on another piece of paper and cut along the, here we go. You cut along the, what's the word? The curve. The curve for the skirt, the curve for the waistband. So I had okay success. So I will say that I think I made the circle too big. I have too much fabric in my skirt. It's wearable, it's comfy. I didn't do a zip, I did a elastic waistband. Yeah, I just sort of winged it. This is a chambray union print. I think it's Robert Kaufman, the fabric, and it washes up lovely, and it's neutral, and I wore it out with a tank top yesterday. It was cute. You may have seen it on Instagram with a different top, which did not look great, but I'm happy with that. I used a new acquisition with it. This is the Dritz Easy Hem, and Sarah Pomegranate from the Yarns at Yahoo podcast talked about this, and I was immediately like, I think within 12 hours I got one. Within 12 hours of listening to her talk about it. I refer to her in my house as Dr. Pomegranate. She's full of wisdom. Anyway, this is great for hemming because you just put this in the fabric, fold it over to the depth you want, press right on there because it's metal, you can do that. And you get a nice curve, you get a consistent curve as you're doing a massive hem on a circle skirt. You've got a lot of curve to worry about. So this is invaluable. Someone on Instagram said she's had hers for 39 years and she's still going strong. So yeah, great tool. I had my daughter color code my fabric scraps because they were starting to, well, they were oozing out of their container big time. And anyway, she color coded them. And then I was like, what next? So I went on Instagram and I said, is there something that people do for their scraps? For storage. Now, two people mentioned a particular blog, and I'm going to tell you what it's called right now. It is called Bonnie Hunter is the name, and the blog is Quiltville. And she's on Instagram as @Quiltville_Bonnie, Bonnie. And she stores her scraps in pre-cut strips and bricks and blocks. So she can just grab and make scrap quilts. And the people who mentioned her said that they've actually made several quilts out of their scraps. And you know, fabric is expensive, and you know, sometimes I have sizable amounts, but even like small squares can be used. So I have begun the process of ironing all of my scraps because I just wadded them up and threw them in a basket. And you know what? They take up a lot less space when they are flat. Yeah. So I'm ironing them, and then as time goes by, I will cut them. And I found actually quite a few that are like fat quarter size or bigger. They can definitely be used. Now, speaking of quilts, I have made a quilt sandwich. Here's the backing. You can see my pins in there. Yeah. This is my Jello quilt. This is, as I said, the backing, which I adore. Here's a glimpse into the front. So, yeah, now it gets quilted. And I don't know what to do. I don't know if I will quilt it by stitching in the ditch, you know, just in the seams, or if I will just do a square in each, you know what, I'll probably stitch in the ditch. Do you have another idea? Let me know in the episode thread. It's a Jello quilt. Yes, projects. All right. Acquisitions. Now you're probably thinking, you just went to SSK and bought a ton of yarn. And that is correct, but I bought more since I've been home. All right, let me start. I'm not going to show you the stuff quite yet. Let me show you something I received in the mail. I was at this brewery with my friend, Mary Lee, last year. And she decides to send me a postcard because she was there recently. It's all both happy and sad. Okay. I received this very exciting piece of news in the mail. Knit Cahoots, 2 Friends, 2 Cities, 1 Road to Knitwear Design by Megan Williams and Corey Eichelberger. So there's a beautiful letter from Corey who sent this, describing how this came about. And I won't share the whole thing right now, but because I think it's probably going to be in the book that comes out. But it will feature, the first book will feature sweaters, socks, and hats with inspiration taken from the road they travel to reach one another, which is the Minnesota Highway 52. And incidentally, there are 52 weeks in a year. So I think there's going to be some inspiration from the calendar as well. So there's a story of how they met, and it's really lovely. And yeah, so this is Corey. I met them both at Rhinebeck last year. Here they are. I think that's Corey because she wears glasses. And there's, of course, Megan, who lives in Rochester, Minnesota, which is where the Mayo Clinic is. And the Mayo Clinic features in the why and the how they met. So I am very excited. They said, I think Corey said that there are going to be some free pattern, at least one free pattern too, as the book comes out to sort of get people interested. But I'm very excited to see what else they come up with. Yes, acquisitions. Okay. Do you watch the Intuit Knits podcast with Lori? I really enjoy her podcast. She lives near Toronto, Canada. And she's been talking about eco-dyeing, or I think botanical dyeing is another term you might have seen. My friend Middlebrook Fiber Arts, Ann Choi, is an amazing eco-dyer, and I have bought a silk scarf from her in the past. She's also an amazing spinner, and just check her out. Anyway, I have just been looking at my garden and my woods near my house, and I've been very inspired by potential dye plants. Now, I really, at this point, don't have an interest in making lots of dye stocks from them, but in eco-dyeing, you take flowers, leaves, berries, and you lay them out on a fabric that's pre-mordanted, and you basically lay this all out, you roll it up, you tie it, you steam it, you let it set, and hopefully then you have, sort of more abstract prints from all of these objects. So I spent some PayPal funds on sanded silk charmeuse from Dharma Trading Co. And this is a type of silk that has a treatment on one side that makes it more matte. And this is the more matte side, and this is the more shiny side. It's not super shiny like some silks, which I love. The hand and drape is amazing. And I want to dye this, and I want to use it as fabric in a top. So I'm going to cut a small strip off, and I'm going to experiment with different things in my garden. I have, lots of things. And then you see what the results are like. I might use tea at some point as well. I'm very excited about that. I have not been able to think about it since we've been painting, it's just been a huge undertaking, and there's more to do, but my mojo is shot at this point for painting the house, so we'll see. But yeah, I'm very excited to give that a go. I might go to the like Trader Joe's and buy some, like a bouquet of flowers and use the eucalyptus leaves and that sort of thing. Okay, so I was lured to Fiberspace by my friend Sarah. Just kidding. We went to the fabric store nearby, and it's right around the corner, Fiberspace, and I had forgotten, but I had rewards, and they had Hedgehog. So for a pittance, because of my rewards, I got a skein of Twist sock, which is a BFL nylon base. This is the teacup colorway. Let me open this up. Now, I've seen this knit up. It's adorable. Not my typical, you know, it's just, you think, oh, it's just white yarn with a few speckles, a little bit of pink. When you knit this up, though, you see that subtlety and restraint in dyeing is frequently a very underrated thing. Now, I am kind of, oh my gosh, this sweater. I need to make a decision. But, there it is. This could be an amazing substitution for the beautiful Lammy Toes. But again, maybe it's just that I don't want to knit this particular sweater. Can you hear Alice playing? Just having a grand time. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. I also got this. It's a mini of the typewriter colorway. Oh, and speaking of minis, I forgot to show this in WIPs. This is my sock yarn blanket. I think there are a few squares that have not yet been shown. Now, oh my goodness, there's been so little knitting on this for months, but I did do some. I did this square. I think when my in-laws were here, it's like, we need a square to commemorate this. Oh, I did this one, which is a Corriedale from Serenity Farms. Gosh, so amazing. It's just great stuff. I think that's it. 2 squares, yay! All right, there's more to show. Acquisitions. Goodness. All right. The woolly thistle. I got some blacker yarns. I got a small, what is this? Is this fingering or DK? It's fingering. Blacker Blends Manx locked in with mohair. I have felt this knit up. It's amazing. I just came across in my travels a little swatch. If someone had swatched this, it was a white. Their particular one was white. Right now, all they have is this color. But yeah. I'm going to make a short-sleeved, very flowy top with it. It's really great knit up. Very excited. This is from the woollythistle.com, my good friend Claire. And she is an enabler because she sent along this. And I had been eyeing this one as well, Pure Wool with Linen. This is also from Blacker Lyonesse, which I believe refers to like a mythical island or maybe a real island that's no longer in existence. I don't know, but it's an island. Yeah, this would make a really great sweater. Maybe a Gemini. That was a nitty pattern, I believe. Okay, but wait, there's more. One of my local yarn stores is closing. The owner is retiring, and I had a rewards card there, and she was prorating. If you hadn't filled it up, she was prorating what you did have. So I couldn't let free yarn go to waste, right? Because I think I had about $20 out of that reward card. dear. Now, the store's called Uniquities, and not my favorite. They have good yarns, but it was not a sociable place, as in there's no winding station, there's no table to sit and knit. It's buy yarn, get out. That said, they were knowledgeable. They were nice enough. So I'm sad to see them go, regardless. Okay, it was more of an old school store. 30% off at this point, plus my rewards. I got a skein of Mountain Colors, Mountain Goat. I'm gonna dye this. I knit a pair of socks out of that. It is great stuff. Great stuff. A Zauberball, a crazy Zauberball. It was the last one. It looked so lonely, and I love these colors. Can't not have a Zauberball. Then I got some silky wool, which I've never tried before. But this is like a pumpkin colorway. I don't even know if this is enough. I'm hoping it's enough for a tank top. It's about 800-900 yards. Okay. And then Eco Wool. This light gray Eco Wool. You cannot go wrong. This is great stuff. Not expensive. So yeah. Taking stuff out of the stash and putting stuff right back in. But I have to say that the orange sweater for my son was from the same store actually, and that stuff has just tenaciously held on in my stash. I've knit 2 sweaters out of it now. I've knit a hat, I think for the fat squirrel when she did her orange along years ago. So I still have some scraps from it, but now they'll go into my scrap jar for celery weaving, my scrap basket. I don't have a scrap jar. I have several scrap baskets. I need to do some more weaving. I was going to do my Shackleton along. I'm done, by the way, but let me just ramble about my Shackleton along. And this is a knit along that's going on the Fiber Trek podcast, which is another wonderful podcast. And it's a knit along inspired by Ernest Shackleton's trip with his crew on the Endurance to the South Pole. And it's not a trip, it's not a knit along where you need to finish anything. It's where you need to endure. You need to try something hard, crafting wise, and see what happens. And, you know, plan B, plan C, plan D is all okay, because that's what happened to Shackleton and his crew. But he brought all of his crew back alive. So things are constantly evolving with my Shackleton along, making it a very true Shackleton experience. I can't share much about it right now. My first thought was that I was going to use hand-processed, hand-spun, hand-dyed yarn and weave it into a sweater, a cardigan. I don't think that's going to happen. But I have another Shackleton adventure, and I'm about to embark on stage 2 of it, and I'll show you when I can. That's all I can say. I know that's mysterious, but it'll be all good. Okay, so I will say goodbye for now. Again, look for my spinning demo soonish. I have to take care of Alice. I think she wants to go outside and forage in the garden. She's a big fan of homegrown tomatoes. So with that, you all take care. Bye-bye.